Today we're going to take a look at drawing a wheel. What we're going to learn today, the types of techniques, we're going to look at temporary construction lines, angular dimensions, the mirror command, and circular pattern. Now if you take a look at our part, it has something that's new to us. It has this detail feature that's on here. Okay, and what that is it's a breakout. Since this is kind of small to dimension, it gives us a feature up here in the top where we can find and have that blown up a different size, enlarged to a different size. This is called a keyway, and it gives us the ability to put the dimensions in here a little bit more appropriately so we can view it. Starting off, this is circular in shape, and starting out here by our circle, we have our outside circle at 4. The next inside circle is 0.175, and the far inside circle is 0.68, and our middle hole that's part of the keyway is 0.75. We're going to end up using a circular pattern where we're going to draw one of these shapes and then circular pattern it around. We're going to do the same thing with these two holes. Draw the two holes and then circular pattern them around. Okay, so let's start. I would suggest leaving this up for reference, or you can print it off and have it as a sheet of paper sitting next to you, or you have this up as a PDF drawing as well. So let's start with at our home. We're going to start with new from the ribbon bar. New from the ribbon bar, we're going to go standard.rpt and click create. We're going to start with a 2D sketch from our XY plane. Click front in your world view cube. Circle tool, starting at our origin. This first circle we said was 4 inches. We're going to green check mark finish sketch and go home so we can view our part. Let's find out how thick this is. On our side view, you can see that the thickness of our part, the wheel, is 0.5, so that's good to know. We're going to take and enter that into our drawing. So I'm going to extrude. We're going to extrude in direction number 2, the flip direction. And we're going to extrude 0.5 half-inch thick. And then click OK. Now we're going to take a look at these slots that are here. We have a 1.75 radius circle and a 0.68 radius circle. Now these are arcs, so they specify them as a radius. We want them to be a diameter. So we're going to show you how to do that here today. 2D sketch on our front view. We're going to take a circle, stretch this dimension out, and we can see here that on our wheel it says that it is a radius of 1.75. However, when we are on our circle, it makes us do a diameter. So we can kind of make the computer work for us a little bit. We can do 1.75, which is the radius, and since the diameter is twice the radius, we're going to put the asterisk sign, that shift key in 8 for multiply, and then we're going to multiply by 2. So that'll give us 2 times 1.75, and enter on the keyboard. Okay, and that does the math and gets us circle to the right spot. Let's take a look at that other circle now. We're going to do the same thing with this one here, 0.68. That's our inside circle that goes around. Circle command again. Start from our origin. And this one is 0.68. Shift key in 8 was the times, and then we're going to 2. Press enter on the keyboard. Now we need to get these angular lines in here, and this is where we're going to have to do a couple of construction lines, which will be deleted a little bit later. So we're going to need a vertical line and a horizontal line, and we're going to need an angular line going in here, and then we're going to dimension it. So these are construction lines. I'm going to take a line tool, start at my origin. I'm going to just sketch a line straight up, make sure I have that straight in a snap. I'm also going to take a line and go from my origin out to the right. I'm going to take another line and go at an angle up here. For right now, none of these lengths or angles matter right now. Press the escape key. Now we're going to dimension this a little bit. We're going to dimension from this line to this line. And of course, going off of my wheel drawing, that's 60 degrees. So I'm going to enter in a degrees of 60 and green check mark. Okay, now we're going to take a look at that mirror command because we want this same thing down on the bottom. Remember, we have this construction line right here. So the first thing we're going to do is select our mirror tool, which is right next to dimension. We want us to select the thing we want to mirror. So I want to mirror this line. And then in my mirror line is this horizontal line here that we drew. Once you've clicked those two, click apply, and that'll put that line down on the bottom. Done. Now we're going to come up to this horizontal line we drew, right click and delete. This vertical line that we drew, right click and delete. Okay, we're looking good. Now we're going to take and use our trim tool. This is not new for us. We've tried to trim before. We're going to trim. We're going to trim this outside circle, this inside circle, get rid of these two little legs towards the middle and the two little legs on the outside. So now we have our basic shape. If you take a look here, all fillets are 0.25. Okay, so we have a radius of 0.25 on all our fillets. So let's take a look at those. Fillet tool. We're going to change our dimension to 0.25. Whoops. Change our dimension to 0.25. And then I'm going to come around and I am going to click the inside circle and the top line and the outside circle to put these fillets on, outside circle and the bottom line and the inside circle. Okay, that looks great. Now, we're going to take and we're going to circular pattern these. We could circular pattern them as a feature or we could circular pattern during the sketch. So let's do circular pattern right now. We'll do this one as the sketch, and the next one with the holes we'll do as the feature. So here we just want us to select our geometry. So I want to make sure I get this line in the middle here. And go around and click all these entities. Okay. Then I'm going to get my pick tool for what axis I want it to rotate around, and that would be our center, our origin. By default, it comes in with 6, so I'm going to change that to 3, and then I'm going to click OK. Not as hard as you thought it was. Green check mark, finish sketch. We're going to extrude, and I'm going to click each of my 3 areas. I'm going to go through all. This button here, we're going to click through all, and click OK. That wasn't too bad, was it? Next, we're going to do these holes. There's a 0.38 and a 0.5 diameter hole. Now notice we're going to be working on our 3 o'clock side of the circle. I'm sorry, our 9 o'clock side of the circle. The 3 o'clock side, we had this shape slot over here. Now on the 9 o'clock side, we're going to put these 2 circles and circular pattern them around. 0.38, 0.5. 2D sketch, my front view. I'm going to start with my circle. This one is 0.38. Enter on the keyboard. My next one, 0.5. Enter on the keyboard. And now we have to put these dimensions in. I have a 0.87 and a 1.59 to the center of those circles. So I'm going to dimension from the center origin to the center of that first circle. 0.87, green check mark. I'm going to dimension from the center of my circle, the origin to the center of the outside circle. This one's 1.59. Now they're positioned correctly. Finish Sketch. We're going to take and extrude. And since nothing's selected here, see we have the red areas, I need to come in here and click my circles to identify them as the things that need to be extruded. If you have a hard time indicating or selecting that, you can zoom in on those as well. I want this to go all the way through, which should inactivate your cut slot, your cut command, and then click OK. Now let's circular pattern those, and we're circular patterning a feature. So circular pattern, button right here. We're going to click these two holes. Move down to my rotation axis. Click on that pick tool, the arrow tool. I'm going to click the outside of my wheel. Default is 6. I'm going to change that to 3. And then click OK. A lot easier than you thought. Next, we're going to take a look at this keyway that's in here. And like I talked to you about before, right up here, since it's kind of small, this enlarges it as a detail. 0.75 diameter going all the way through. And then we have this keyway that is 0.06 up, 0.06 down, and a ½ inch out from the center. So let's take a look at that. 2D sketch on my front view. I'm going to take my circle tool, and this circle diameter is 0.75. Now I'm going to have to get those lines in there again. I'm going to go from my center out. This is just a construction line. Okay, I have that in there. Then I'm going to take and use my offset tool. I'm going to offset it going up 0.06. Enter on the keyboard. I'm going to take that same line and offset it going down 0.06. Enter on the keyboard. I'll zoom in order to take a look at that a little nicer. Okay, see where I'm at? Next, I'm going to take that center line. I'm going to right click and delete it. Now I need a vertical line to offset. From the center origin, I'm going to draw a line straight up. Press the escape key, then I'm going to click offset from my ribbon bar at the top. I'm going to offset this line to the right, 0.5. Make sure your cursor's over here to the right. Press enter on the keyboard. Zoom in a little bit. Now I'm going to extend. I'm going to extend this line down. And then it's a sake of trimming out what we don't need anymore. Trim out all the lines that we don't need in order to create that keyway. Don't forget about this little part of the circle here as well. Great job. Green check mark, finish sketch. There's our keyway. Now we need to take and extrude it. So let's click extrude. We're going to extrude, cut all the way through all right here, click. That should inactivate your cut command, and click OK. Great job. The next thing that we need to do, go home. I'm going to come up to the top, go to default. I'm going to change my material type to dark green. That's in the D area, so it's alphabetically organized. Let me show you. So this is alphabetically organized. We're in D for dark green. Then we're going to go to orange file in the top left-hand corner. We're going to go down to Save As. We're going to make sure that this is going to our H drive. First initial, last name 000. Notice mine did not go to the H drive. I'm going to pull down, go all the way down to my H drive. I'm going to call this part Wheel and click Save. Great job. Tune in to the next video where we take and make this an IDW and prepare it to turn into your Google Classroom. Nice job on this one. See you next time.